The Cowboys can't sleep on this. Big moves are brewing. All right, folks, buckle up, because there is a whole lot going on in Cowboys Nation right now, and if you blink, you're going to miss something that could genuinely reshape this roster. We've got a blockbuster extension out of Pittsburgh that just shook the edge rusher market wide open. A backfield situation in Arizona that Dallas absolutely needs to be watching like a hawk. A quarterback battle that's already more spicy than anybody expected. And a young receiver quietly cooking something special in the background. There's a lot to get into, so let's not waste another second. And hey, if you're new here and you love real Cowboys talk with no fluff and no filler, smash that subscribe button right now. We do this every single day and we're just getting warmed up. Trey Benson and the Arizona Backfield Circus. Let's kick things off with something the post-June 1st trade market just cracked wide open. And one name Cowboys fans need to get very familiar with is Trey Benson. A running back currently buried so deep on Arizona's depth chart, he practically needs a flashlight to find daylight. Now here's what's actually going on down in the desert. And it's genuinely wild when you lay it all out. The Cardinals held on to James Conner even after a pretty forgettable 2025 campaign? Fine, okay. Then they went out and scooped up Tyler Algier in free agency. All right, still manageable. But then, and this is where it gets ridiculous, they used the 3rd overall pick in the draft on Jeremiah Love. The 3rd overall pick, people. On a running back, on a team that is smack in the middle of tearing everything down and starting fresh. So now you've got 4 running backs, Conner, Algier, Love, and Benson, all scrapping for touches on a squad that isn't sniffing a playoff game anytime soon. Somebody in that room is going to become excess baggage, and it's only a matter of time before Arizona starts making calls. Now, a lot of analysts will point the finger at Conner as the most trade-friendly name given his age and the direction the franchise is heading. And look, that argument has some legs. But here's the thing. Arizona might actually want Conner around. A young, rebuilding team still searching for its identity could really lean on that veteran presence in the locker room, which means Benson could be the guy who ends up on the move. And honestly, that makes him the more exciting option for Dallas to chase. Here's why this actually matters for the Cowboys right now. Behind Javvante Williams, the Dallas backfield is still a genuinely open question. Jaden Blue has flashed moments, but hasn't shown he can be counted on when it really matters in a real NFL game. Malik Davis does the job, but has real limitations in terms of what he can bring to the table. And Phil Maffa? Look, he's a total wild card. There's barely anything to evaluate. None of these guys have stood up and said, "I've got this," when the game gets tight and the carries start coming. Benson isn't a finished product. I'm not going to sit here and pretend otherwise, because that wouldn't be fair to you. But he brings genuine athletic juice to a room that desperately needs that kind of internal competition. He's an upside play. He's a young guy with something to prove rather than another veteran coasting toward the finish line of his career. And here's the best part. The price tag should be dirt cheap. We're talking a late-round pick, maybe a minimal package. That's it. For a team in full rebuild mode, Arizona just wants to clear the logjam. Maybe Benson never becomes more than quality depth, and I'm completely off on this one. I'm genuinely open to being wrong. But Cowboys Nation, Arizona is moving somebody out of that backfield before training camp. Dallas needs to be on the phone yesterday. Don't overthink it. Make the call. Drop a comment below. Do you want the Cowboys to go get Trey Benson? Let me know what you think, and while you're at it, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel more than you know. The QB2 battle is real. Milton versus Howell moving on. And this one is honestly more intriguing than most people are giving it credit for. The backup quarterback competition is officially alive and kicking at OTAs, and it is spicier than expected. Joe Milton has the job right now, but make no mistake, that gig is not locked up or guaranteed. Brian Schottenheimer didn't dance around it or drop hints. He came right out and said Milton needs to get better. Said it directly, out loud, no reading between the lines required. And then, just to make absolutely certain nobody missed the memo, the Cowboys went out and signed Sam Howell to add real heat to that competition. Dallas Morning News reporter Nick Harris framed it perfectly this week. Howell brings the experience edge, having started the entire 2023 season for Washington. But Milton brings that jaw-dropping playmaking ability that you simply cannot teach. Two completely different kinds of quarterbacks competing for the exact same spot behind Dak Prescott. It's a genuinely fascinating matchup. Here's what you actually need to pay attention to at OTAs, because this is where it gets telling. Nobody is handing out starting jobs in voluntary practices. That's just the reality of how this works. But the rep splits between these two guys? Those will tell you everything about how the coaching staff really feels, even if they'll never admit it publicly at a press conference. If Howell and Milton are truly splitting those second-team snaps down the middle, it's a real, live competition. But if one guy is consistently getting the lion's share of the work, the coaches have already made up their minds. They're just not ready to say it out loud yet. Let me give you the honest breakdown of what each guy actually brings to the table. Because I think it's worth being straight about. Sam Howell is your bus driver. He's not going to set the world on fire, but he's going to get you where you're going without crashing into a ditch. He completed over 63% of his passes in Washington, and that Washington team had significantly less firepower around him than what Dallas can offer. He keeps things calm, manages the game, and lets the weapons do their thing. And listen, when your weapons are CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Javvante Williams, and Jake Ferguson, that's actually not a terrible backup plan. Joe Milton is basically the complete opposite personality. The arm talent is genuinely rare for a player his size, the kind of arm strength that makes defensive coordinators nervous. The athleticism is real. But the issue that showed up last season, throwing absolute rockets on passes that called for touch and finesse, that has to be ironed out. If it is, Milton is a legitimately scary backup option. If it's not, Howell might end up stealing that job before summer's over. Cowboys Nation, this QB2 battle is going to be one of the most revealing storylines of the entire training camp. Watch those rep splits. They will tell you way more than anything you'll hear in a press conference. Trust me on that one. Who do you want as the Cowboys QB2, Milton or Howell? Leave your take in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This is the Cowboys content you deserve. Alex Highsmith and the Pittsburgh Domino that could fall Dallas's way. Now this is the one that genuinely stopped me in my tracks when I first saw it. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. Alex Highsmith. Remember that name, because he just became one of the most interesting names floating around the entire NFL. Here's what happened. The Pittsburgh Steelers just handed Nick Herbig a 4-year, $100 million extension. Totally deserved. Herbig has been outstanding. But that deal just created a financial puzzle in Pittsburgh that the Cowboys need to be studying very, very closely. Let's do the math together. The Steelers now have 3 outside linebackers on monster contracts. TJ Watt is locked up on a 3-year, $123 million deal running through 2028. Herbig just got his $100 million, and Highsmith is sitting on a 4-year, $68 million extension through 2027, carrying a $20 million cap hit this season alone. Pittsburgh is not exactly rolling around in cap room right now. Something has to give, and the easiest contract in that group to move? Highsmith's, which would free up $14.5 million for the Steelers if they pull the trigger. Now let's talk about what Highsmith actually does on a football field, because the production is genuinely impressive. Last season, in just 13 games, he put up 50 tackles and 9.5 sacks. His overall PFF grade was 82.9, ranking him 13th among all edge rushers in the league. His pass rushing grade of 79.6 put him 16th, and his run defense grade of 82.1 was 4th in the entire NFL. 4th in the entire NFL in run defense. This is a complete, well-rounded edge rusher who is 28 years old and still has multiple years of high-level football ahead of him. He would walk into this Cowboys defense and immediately be one of the best players on that side of the ball. Full stop. Now I hear the concern, and it's a fair one. Would Highsmith block the development of Malachi Lawrence and Donovan Azukanma? Would he eat into the snaps that this franchise needs those younger guys to have? Maybe. It's a legitimate question. But here's my counter, and I believe this pretty strongly. This is not a team that can afford to run an experiment and just hope things work out. Dak Prescott's window is actively getting smaller. An elite offense needs a defense that can actually win a game when the offense has an off night. And adding a player like Highsmith doesn't kill development. It raises the standard that Lawrence and every other young pass rusher on this roster has to meet every single day in practice. Cowboys Nation. If Pittsburgh decides to move Highsmith, Dallas needs to be first in line, not second. Not making phone calls to see if the price is right. First in line. This is exactly the kind of bold, aggressive move this front office needs to be willing to make, and the time to act is right now. Would you pull the trigger on an Alex Highsmith trade? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single comment. And if this kind of analysis is what you're here for, subscribe and hit the bell. New content goes up every day. The Quiet Storm. Ryan Florinoï's moment is coming all right. After all the big splashy names and potential blockbuster trades, I want to close things out with something that's been building slowly, quietly, almost under the radar. Because sometimes the most important story in the room is the one that isn't making the loudest noise yet. The name is Ryan Florinoï. And Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox just named him the Cowboys' top breakout candidate for 2026. And honestly, once you look at the arc of his first 2 seasons, the case is hard to argue with. Florinoï is heading into year 3. Yeah, he's coming off his most productive season so far. Exactly the kind of steady, consistent improvement that suggests another jump is genuinely on the table. But here's where it gets really interesting. And this goes way beyond just one season's box score. The Cowboys have publicly stated they have no plans to extend George Pickens until after this season wraps up. No long-term deal, no negotiations in progress. Now, the front office insists there's no intention to trade him either. Fine, but let's think about what happens if Florinoï takes that expected third-year leap and establishes himself as a legitimate third weapon. Someone defenses actually have to account for when they're scheming against Lamb and Pickens. Suddenly, the conversation about what to do with Pickens after 2026 becomes a whole lot less stressful. You're not staring down a receiver room emergency if Pickens eventually walks. You've already got someone ready to step into a bigger role. That changes the financial flexibility this front office has in a real, tangible, meaningful way going forward. I'm not crowning Florinoï as anything yet, and I want to be careful about that. Because one productive season doesn't make a star. The competition inside this receiver room is real and stiff. Maybe he plateaus. Maybe this whole conversation looks completely different by the time October rolls around. I could absolutely be wrong about where this is heading, and I'm open to that. But Cowboys Nation, Florinoï is one of the most important players to watch this entire summer. Not just for 2026. His development this year could shape the financial and personnel blueprint of this offense for years to come. The bottom line, the window is open, but it won't stay open forever. Here's where we land on all of this, and I want you to really hear this. This Cowboys roster has genuine talent. The offense, when it's clicking, is built to compete with anyone in this league. The defense has more real pieces than it's had in a long time. But talent alone doesn't win championships. Aggression does. Trey Benson could be available for pennies from a Cardinals backfield that simply has too many bodies and not enough carries to go around. Dallas needs to be first in line when Arizona makes that move, and they will make that move. The QB2 battle between Joe Milton and Sam Howell is officially live at OTAs right now. Watch the rep splits, not the press conferences, not the quotes, not the media spin. The reps will tell you the real story. Alex Highsmith just became one of the most fascinating names in the entire league after Pittsburgh committed $100 million to Nick Herbig. A complete, well-rounded 28-year-old edge rusher with elite grades and 9.5 sacks in 13 games could transform this defense overnight. Make the call, Dallas. And Ryan Florinoï is quietly putting something together that could reshape this entire receiver room's future if he takes that next step. Keep your eyes on him all summer long. The teams that win championships in this league don't sit around waiting for the perfect moment to fall into their laps. They go out and create it. The Cowboys have to be that team right now. Cowboys Nation, drop your enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button. It takes 1 second, and it genuinely helps get this content in front of more Cowboys fans who deserve to hear it. And if you're not subscribed yet, join the family right now. We're here every single day, breaking it all down. Tomorrow, we keep going. The star never sleeps, and neither do we.